Ooh.
Hey y'all.
Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey.
you.
How's
Hey
everyone
Facebook,
doing today?
Twitter,
You
YouTube.
know what time it is. You know what day it is. It's
We live.
Thursday, 6:30. So you know what's about to happen. Okay? Ooh, we ain't got nobody watching, y'all.
Oh,
Ooh,
We literally
the
have
shade.
absolute shade.
The shade.
Did y'all do what y'all was supposed to do today? Did y'all pass it around?
I sure did.
Ooh. Hey, hey, hey. Ooh. Okay. So, it takes us a little minute to get going. I see our hit from the street person is back. This is the rain.
Not Kip.
Saying hello.
Hey y'all.
Hey.
Y'all, my camera had failed, so I'm sorry. My stand won't stay still. I need another stand down.
This is gonna be a fun night.
Look,
it is.
You gotta do what you gotta do, huh?
Facts. Let's do this.
Big facts. So this is the Rain Outreach Team. We're here for you every Thursday discussing community-related events, health-related events, Black experience, gay experience, whatever you want to call it.
All the good stuff.
This week or this month, we'll be doing a Black History Month series called Young, Gifted, and Black. It will be a different person every episode who is a young Black person giving back and changing their communities right now. And these are people that we need to support because, shit, y'all ain't doing it. Somebody got to get out here and get this shit done.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Sean.
Was good.
I'm under the impression that you might be the person that starts off the day.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh
yeah.
Oh.
They said they wanted to listen to who?
What's going on, baby?
They wanted to listen up.
It's time for Listen Up with Sean. Let's see what the doodadas is today.
What's going on?
I think they listening. They listening.
I see people now. We had zero earlier.
I think they listening. If they not listening, we're gonna help them tune in. We'll give them a little gossip.
Okay.
Look, if they
already know how I bust it down with these topics and how I get the tea, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just up. I'm scrolling on social media. I just so happen to see this person with this big diamond in the middle of their face. So I was a little confused. So it made me go investigate and made me go read up on it some more. So just in case y'all are not aware, Lil Uzi, he's a rapper. He is really commonly known for, I think he did a song with Nicki, right?
Mm-hmm.
He did a song with Nicki. I think recently he did a song with Nicki. He got some more hits or whatever.
What's his name? Who we talking about?
Lil Uzi Vert.
Lil Uzi Vert.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't he dead?
JT allegedly.
No, that's the song.
No, all my friends are dead. That's him.
But that's that song.
No, I'm thinking of Extinction or whatever that was.
That's his song though. But... So check it. So he has a $24 million pink diamond that was implanted in the middle of his forehead.
Like vision.
$24 million pink diamond implanted in the middle of this man's forehead.
Man, I'm finna yank that hoe.
I'm about to cut his head off. Where is he at?
Can you say trying to be vision?
It's giving Thanos.
That's it right on.
Why? I mean, but why though?
I don't know, man.
What?
Money.
I've always been one to say people get money sometimes and just literally don't have nothing to do with it, and they just do stupid stuff with their money because they literally are like, they don't know no better.
Please, God, if you give me $24 million,
okay.
On my forehead, I promise, please.
I promise.
I will put it to
That'll be the last thing I do.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Come on,
you hear me?
Okay. Come on now, like out of all things, you could have got that done in a ring or something. Even then, like 24 mil, it's COVID going on. 24 mil,
In a pandemic.
You shortening it to like 24 mil, like that's not a lot of money. I'm gonna need you to sound that whole shit out. 24 million.
In your phone.
No shade. No shade. So
like
listen,
that's not nothing.
I don't know like I don't know what he was trying to prove with that, but then I further read that I think today, it was either yesterday or today, it's too heavy for his face, so it's bleeding, and he has to get it taken, surgically removed.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what happens when you do things before you don't think.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think, you just
play,
do.
Yeah.
It was
at the game to win super prizes.
I don't know if he was trying to go with the whole dermal look or something. Like he thought it was like a dermal type of piercing, but that diamond is too heavy, baby.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with body modifications, but you gotta make sure the modifications you make to your body actually gonna work for you.
Exactly, though.
And that's key. Okay. That's key.
Okay.
I have so many questions.
You do? Are you looking at a pic or something?
No.
Okay.
I'm scared to look at a picture. I'm not gonna lie. I don't wanna.
It's crazy. Like it's just big. It's just a pink diamond. It's literally sitting right there.
And now you keep talking about it and trying to let it go.
And there's another rapper who got one on his cheek.
Oh, this is the little boy that be singing with the me.
Wait, I was waiting on her response. Yeah, I'm sorry. I needed Patrice to see a pic first. Yeah, I'm sorry. Before I moved on to the next topic, I needed her to see a pic. I did.
I'm scared.
Out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Out of control.
Let me just look at this one more time.
One more time.
Just to make sure you ain't tripping, because you're not.
You know,
it's real.
He was already ugly, so it's really an upgrade for him.
Low key. Low key. All right.
Look, though, the Marvel fans roasted his ass. Oh, you trying to look like Vision? They dropped.
Yeah, it was giving Vision. It was giving
I
Vision.
said, y'all didn't hear when I said that first? It's giving Vision. I said that when it first started. I said it's giving me Vision. I feel like this is too
yeah.
But listen, so we're gonna go ahead and move to the next one, y'all. I got some more juicy tea. Cause you know I like reading up on all the good tea with the celebs because they got so much. These celebrities got a lot going on. Little do y'all know. So as I was still scrolling, you know what I'm saying, minding my business, tending to me, I started listening and I heard a video come across my screen that was talking about T.I. and Tiny drugging these girls up and sexually abusing them. And one girl has came forward and told her so-called story about T.I. and Tiny sexually abusing her and drugging her up.
So these are the same people that want to know if their daughter is still a virgin?
Yep. And
this is surprising to you?
No. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense. You two basically pressing.
It's all coming back to me.
Oh, you press about your daughter being a virgin, but you sexually assaulting teenage girls.
Make it make sense.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm like,
they came forth with allegations of saying that this stuff is not true. They're saying it's not true. They fighting against it.
Of course they did.
But what?
T.I. told the people that he wasn't no dope dealer neither, but we know that was a fucking lie.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So for me, I think the thing comes in at is why, like, what is up with these celebrities and it's like drugging people up and like this story has been like I've heard it with a lot of celebrities of them just like drugging people up and doing like I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
You got all this money like to like what? Go get you. I mean, I just don't pay. Go pay for sex. I'm not understanding.
It comes down to a control issue and being able to control somebody and what they want or don't want. Just the same reason that people give people roofies and shit.
Right.
Not that you can't get whatever you're trying to get, but possibly the person you're trying to get don't want to be bothered.
Right. And I feel like, you know, celebrities are regular people at the end of the day. So it's like regular people are doing this, but they're not doing it to that extent. It's just like it's more of a, you know, headline because they're celebrities. And it's nothing people do surprises me anymore. Nothing that, you know, anything that people do, it doesn't surprise me anymore. So.
Literally. Now you don't put nothing past nobody now. Just
I just don't understand the desire. Like
where you getting
want
out
to
of
control
that?
somebody, the desire to be with somebody young. I just don't. I don't. It's
Like, what are
the
you
fuck?
missing out on? Yeah, like that's weird. That's very, very weird. I wanted to talk about that because that was like this. Y'all brought up the fact of like him wanting to control his daughter, but yet you out here like it's very.
But people were supporting that, talking about, so, oh, he being a good father by doing that. He's actually not. You're invading that child's privacy for one. Two, that's just controlling and freaky. Like, so you're not gonna be responsible for me anymore because I'm not a virgin. Like, that's just
which almost makes you want to like. It almost makes me think that she wants to rebel against that and do it anyway. Like because you telling her not to do it and you putting her out.
Of course, that's how every kid is.
Right.
Every kid is like, oh, you gonna tell me not to have sex? I'm one way. You gonna tell me not to use condoms? Fuck that shit.
For real.
Bye, baby. They about to
I'm here for all of the shit. Teenagers don't care.
They don't
about stuff like that.
Yeah. Especially
you know what
right
I'm
now.
You living your life. You know, you remember when you was that age. I'm indestructible. Shit is all good.
Yes, I'm indestructible.
Okay.
Okay.
It was real.
This is before the cell phones and shit was out. Oh, baby.
Baby, listen, you was bound to get us in trouble. So, I mean, hey. Okay. Y'all ready for this?
Audience, please feel free to interact with us. We got the comment section. We do talk back to people. Come on, hit me up.
Come on, talk to me nice.
Talk to me nice, or don't talk to me crazy. Y'all ready for this last juicy one?
Yeah, let's hear it. What you got?
So this one I just got today. This was fresh out of the press. I haven't been hearing anything about it, but low-key I was kind of wondering what was going on with this couple and what they had going on because they were kind of quiet. So I just got word today that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West may be filing for a divorce.
Oh, Charlie. Yeah.
Right.
I did not see that coming.
I did.
Right. This like the second time, right?
She just had that last baby too. She owned that motherfucker. It's over.
It's the fact that how you gonna try to control me and change everything about my life, but you out here look like boo boo fool, embarrassing me and our children. I'm not gonna stay with you. When you got with me,
do you think all of those are his children?
Yeah. When you got with me, you made me throw away all my clothes, made me change how I talk, but now you out here acting a fool, and I'm supposed to just stand by you because you my husband? No, sir. Right. You gotta go.
What you mean made her? He didn't make her do anything.
He did.
He gave her the shit she already wanted to do because she was a fucking hobbit.
I'm done with that guy.
Have you seen pictures of that broad in high school?
No, actually, she was pretty high school. She
was
in her 20s.
So you're looking at a picture after her first surgery.
Yes, her first surgery was terrible, but the new ones are nice.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But her original face was not for the
pretty.
All of them were like respectively pretty before they had.
Kim, Courtney, and Kendall were pretty.
Kim was not pretty.
Now Chloe and Kylie, that was a different case.
No, yeah, Kylie was
pretty.
Okay.
I hate that she.
No, Courtney's the one
like the rest of them.
Who the one that stay out of like Courtney's the one that you don't really hear about, right?
Yeah, and yeah,
she was like she was the baddest one.
Kendall don't really be in the limelight besides being in fashion shows and stuff like that. She don't be with that drama and mess that they be with.
Yeah, yeah, she's pretty too. The ones that be out of the limelight, like
yeah,
but I don't even know who they are.
Like I've never, but I just didn't think that would even like for some reason I just felt like they had like a weird bond, like that nobody could really possibly understand between Kanye and Kim, like, and for some reason I feel like they just meshed. Like
yeah, like the bond was the cash. What do you mean?
But they make their own money separately.
The doll head.
No, she saw the potential in that bag.
A basketball player to a football player to Kanye.
Hold on, wait. I can't hear both of y'all. Wait, say it again, Bryce.
Oh, I said the bond was at that time Kanye West was still kind of up there, but now Kanye West is not up there no more. Everybody looks at him as a joke and a lunatic. She can bounce. Right. Like the high is gone. The high was, oh my God, this is Kanye West. He's that. Now it's like, oh, Kanye West is a joke, so there's really no point Kim's whole life was about she wanted to be famous. Ever since she was 5 years old, she told her mom she wanted to be famous. If you get in the way of,
and her mom became the pimp and made sure that broad was famous.
That's it.
Okay.
She don't have it for Kanye no more. She like, you a joke.
Okay. Fair game. I'll take this.
Ooh.
Patrice.
All right, so now we're going to get into our I'm so excited. We're going to be doing a series, like I said, it's called Young, Gifted, and Black. And it's about local Charlotte people, local Black people that are changing the dynamic of our current environment by reaching out and helping people who would not have a voice otherwise.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I would like to bring on Jasmine Sherman.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, girl.
Can I know that you brought me on to talk about something specific, but can I go back to the Kardashian thing? Because
go ahead.
I feel like
on that. Go ahead.
I did, because I feel like what the Kardashians have done is not that different from what Beyonce's parents did. Now, to talk about Kim being trash, I just want to say, for Kim being trash, she's doing things that you could expect her to do, right? Like that whole family's big thing is like take Blackness, appropriate it, make money from it, and then spit it out. I really agree that Kanye used to be famous and then he became Trump's little. Can I curse? I can't curse because my mama might see this. But like,
he became Trump's bitch was sucking his dick. We know.
No. But I'm actually still very afraid of my mother, so I'm gonna try to be careful. But I just
Mom.
I just feel like a woman's job isn't to support a man like that. And once he's done that, like I have no space for the Kardashians whatsoever. I don't care for them. Like, cause but I fell off with them once Kendall solved the police problem with a Pepsi. She wasn't out all summer. She didn't bring no Pepsis to none of the riots any of us were at. So I'm just saying, Kanye got what he deserved when he said he was gonna leave a Black woman and marry a white girl. Like that was in his cards.
And he left one of my sorors and her daughter. Well, actually, I take that back. She left him.
All I know is he pursuing that sweet white vagina, and he's got what he got.
Oh no, the shade is that he used to pay. He would only get escorts that looked like her, and then play her porno in the background while he was fucking them.
Yeah, I mean, so he got what he deserved.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Kanye is very transparent. He told us he was in bed with Trump, literally.
He definitely is transparent.
So I don't blame Kim, because I really have a hard time. Like, I've got misandry problems I'm trying to work on. No offense, gentlemen, but I have a hard time propping up, a sorry Black man, and he's a sorry Black man.
I just think he's high too much.
There ain't enough drugs in the world.
That's not the
That
wrong
ain't
drug.
Bag down.
Oh, I thought you said he was on drugs.
When you're doing 8 ball an hour, I'm gonna need you to roll that back.
So
roll that back.
I don't know. And then y'all talked about that little boy who's got the little diamond in his forehead. I mean, do you know what we could have done with just a little chunk of that diamond in this city? Like,
hello.
This is bad, and I shouldn't admit it, but I've been telling our people, if you see somebody with a whole bunch of cash out here, let us know. We desperate. I'm gonna rob people. Like that's what it is.
You heard us talking about I was gonna go chop his neck off. Let me get that.
I mean, we don't even need a big piece. Like, for the amount of people that we got on the streets in Charlotte,
I need
now,
2 million of that.
I can make it work with 1 million. I can make it work with 1 million.
Right.
And
I need 2 million because I need it to be where it won't ever come down. Nobody could ever do anything with it. These people that are in this situation will always have a place to go.
But so that's the thing. If we designed housing first initiatives, people would already have a place to go.
We can't start here. I'm sorry. We got a whole thing we're going through.
My bad.
I'm so sorry.
Y'all was about to take off.
My bad.
It's not your fault. It's mine, because in your introduction, I was supposed to say, "Thank you for being here, Jasmine. Please tell us about your organization and the motivation that you found to start that organization with."
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate being here. The organization actually, and I can't take the full credit for it. I will say that I'm responsible for the evolution of the group, but it originally started as a Pants Nations shoot off for Hillary Clinton. And I really have a big problem with people coming along to for political campaigns and like, look what we gonna do, look what we gonna do. And when they get your vote, they're gone, right? No money on the nightstand.
Right.
So it was more important for me to say, well, let's have active people doing things in their community. You can claim, like most people, when they do volunteering, they go, I'm doing this because of my job or I'm doing this for my church. But they never go, I'm doing this because I'm a liberal or a leftist or a Republican. Like nobody ever comes out and be like, this is the values that my political beliefs align with in action, right? We never have that follow through. So that's how Greater Charlotte Rise started. But then the problems increased once we realized that we have a bigger problem in Charlotte than people talk
Tell them
about.
what Greater Charlotte Rise is and does.
So I want to acknowledge that there was some evolution, right? So it started as just immediate relief
Okay.
in Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, just immediate relief. So if you had a light bill, we tried to scrounge up money to pay it. If you had a water bill, we scrounged up money to pay it. But when we realized is here in Charlotte, the housing insecure community is so disenfranchised. Like we have working full-time job people sleeping in parking garages with their children.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that shouldn't be the case in this city where there's so much money. And I'm a big believer in talking trash. I love this. I love to complain. I love to point out bloops or oops, right? But if you're going to talk about people, you have to actively be working to correct the problem or your house has to be in order. My house isn't in order, so I decided to get my name is not Jasmine Sullivan. But
I was looking at it before I hit the thing, and I was like, "That's not right."
that's okay. That's okay. I mean, we got
I was like,
she and I used to
"That's
have
not right
similar
at all."
attitudes.
One moment, Miss Sherman. Let me change that for you. I am so sorry and a little embarrassed because my coworkers are having a ball, and I
No,
will
no.
not live this down for quite some time.
That's one for the books.
No, it's perfect. My
Right.
bad. I get
We're
like
gonna be talking about this until next Sunday.
if people think Jasmine Sullivan is talking to Rain and want to help us and volunteer,
Period.
Okay.
I will
Okay.
straight lie on her. Like
Okay.
if I have to tell people this is Jasmine Sullivan after COVID, I will lie on this chick because
I'm weak.
I'm over it. Like
I was dead ass about to ask. Oh shit, Jasmine Sullivan work here.
I was like,
oh my God, she's about to be our sponsor. She doesn't even know it. I'm gonna tweet and
hello.
Instagram her
Okay.
later and be like, "Girl, you just got promoted."
That just made me
And
think.
she just dropped the album. Come on, free promotion. Yes.
But now we got to talk. So I'm gonna have to talk to her though, because some of her songs is problematic. Because like she got one about straight slavery for a dude. But again, I said I got misandry problems.
It's
I like.
problematic. She's telling these people to go burn shit instead of them. It's not right.
Well, I liked it when she was busting windows out the car. I bring that same energy to all things.
Okay.
Which goes back to my problem with Greater Charlotte Rise. We are a different kind of organization in that we are atheist. We are black led. We operate with no grant funding. And we operate with no grant funding because one, nobody's dumb enough to give us one. I'm just kidding. Really it is because racism permeates all things and it is
Mm-hmm.
hard for a black organization that is not religious and supports the abolition of police to get kind of funding. Our beliefs are important and we put people first. Like, everybody always thinks about the housing insecure and they're like, well, they just need blankets and food, but they need more than that. They need pleasure items as well. Like if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you need more than just the place you live. You need other things. Like, did you know people who are houseless, some of them know how to read. They could use some books. Um, People who are houseless, they smoke cigarettes. The same way we would want pleasure items is the same way they deserve pleasure items too. One of the things that I've decided though, and I want to be honest, so we started this group almost 4 years ago, and I'm tired. I'm so over it. Not because it's not a worthy cause, but because it's a BS cause. This is a problem of our own making. I could be working on something else if we end homelessness, right? Like I could move on to like working to save the Jews. You know, the Hasidic women have a hard time, right? We could do that, or the Mormons, but I really ain't going nowhere out there in the wilderness. I need to work on projects inner city. Let me clarify. But
Right.
homelessness
We
is
got
a
enough to do.
right here.
Right.
Homelessness can be eradicated tomorrow. You just got to give someone a home. And I don't mean, the people we've had at the men's shelter for 10 years, like that's my chair. No, give people a home, and then you can provide all the other resources that you need. When you have someone that's in a shelter situation and they have mental illness, there's no specific place that they can keep their medicine. There's no specific person that says, all right, we're going to pick you up right here for your doctor's appointments, right? Without that kind of advocacy.
We do.
But there's not enough of y'all. And it's definitely like there's not enough follow through for people. And we just put people in homes, we would always know where to find them. Or have a better idea, right? We could get
I
wraparound
feel like
treatment
there's
that
so
way.
many abandoned buildings and factories in Charlotte that even if you just, went in there and partitioned them off with tarps and sheets, just to give them their own space,
Yeah.
it would be better than Tent City.
So we've
Nobody
pitched
is
that
used to
plan.
these places.
We've pitched that plan to the city, and Anthony Trotman told us specifically, and I use his name because it was so disappointing, because I talk about weak linked Black men and like just not here for his people, and maybe that's not fair to put that burden on him, because you Black, you need to support all people, because it's not just Black people that are homeless, or
Right.
but he pissed me off that day, so I'm just gonna call him out and talk about him. He told me my population of people that we work with didn't exist. And the people that we work with, so Greater Charlotte Rise really pushes no red tape. If I don't have to ask for information or write something down, that goes back to why we don't apply for grants, because grants feel like, because in
They want you to
the
write everything
philanthropy
down.
world, they feel like they can demoralize the people in exchange for money.
Mm-hmm.
So that is really why Greater Charlotte Rise doesn't do grants, because I'm not going to call you 7 times a day to answer 55 questions about $2. That's stupid. If we give, we are giving wholeheartedly. So that means like we fully believe in giving people who are housing insecure or homeless, if that's a better term for you to understand what it is. We fully believe in giving them cash, because if you need tampons, and I don't know, I can't just assume you need tampons. And another thing people don't understand is, just because someone appears or presents in a masculine form does not mean they do not still need some of those supplies. And so what that means is, when we encounter Christian groups out here, they're not always mindful about everyone's bodies. They're not always mindful about pronouns. They're not always. So that's that niche that our group fills. If it wasn't for COVID, we'd have our own shelter this year, like we did every year, where we provide a safe space for trans people, a safe place for families to be together. A lot of times when you talk about housing insecurity, if you don't have that next to fit into that little section for the grant, you get no help. None. And so that is how we evolved into what we are. And I'm ready to quit. So we just need to hurry up and end homelessness in Charlotte, which is why I call you, Patrice, personally so much upset, because this is the time. Democrats have they have the office, they have the money. We have a pandemic that's inspiring these reasons. There's no reason we can't take care of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Establishment Democrats have everything.
Yeah.
There's not one progressive that is on a real panel. They have blocked them at every committee because they don't want to change. You know what I'm saying? There needs to be a moratorium on how long you can be in office, because the longer you're there, the more comfortable you get. You start getting money, and you don't give a fuck about the. Tom Tillis has fucked so many people in this motherfucking state. It's not even funny. He's almost. He's a millionaire, clean, smooth. Like, 15 in. Meanwhile, his constituency is on food stamps, can't read, and they don't give a fuck. And that's what's the sadder thing.
Well, so I want to give credit where credit is due, right? A lot of that is because of racism, right?
Yeah.
I want to say, like, a lot of them can read. They just choose not to invest in their own education.
Yeah.
And I know I have to work on it because ever since, did y'all see what happened at the Capitol? The non-melanated went down there and acted a fool.
They ran up in the building and left with souvenirs. And nobody got shot.
Nope, not one.
And I've got home like
nope,
people
one.
on the street.
One did get shot. Only one.
Oh yeah, that one woman.
Only one.
What they needed was CMPD. They needed Putney down there to just be like fire. Remember when he tried to kill us this summer? Y'all missed it. They needed Putney. I've never said he was more suited for any job. But if you want to kill people or harm them, like we are still like physically still bruised up. People still got like I bet you.
Y'all ask me why you're not going down to the thing. That's why. I knew that they were purposely trying to harm them. She used to have bruises all over her. I mean, not little ones. I'm talking like my niece just won a lawsuit against CMPD during the riot because they damn near broke her leg. Trace will be in jail still.
Okay.
So that's really why Greater Charlotte Rise got started, and that's how we keep overextending ourselves because there's just like once you figure out one thing in Charlotte, then there's another thing.
You gotta roll on.
Yep.
And we can't, and because we take everything as a nuanced situation, nobody's situation is the same, and we really try to push. And if I could say anything that has any impact on everybody, you do not have to infantilize people who are houseless. That's not necessary. You can make a choice that you see another human, or you can just be like, I don't want to deal with it. But don't infantilize them. They don't need to be spoken to like they don't speak English. They don't need to be spoken to like they can't hear you. They just want to be treated the same way you want to be treated. That's it.
Right.
And newsflash, a lot of people are houseless through no fault of their own, not through it's not through any behaviors. It's just it happens. It's its own
messing up my
epidemic.
question.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just playing with you.
I missed the question.
But since you started on that, let's go ahead and get into it. People do have a perception of homeless people being either drug addicts or mentally unstable, and they use this as excuse as to why they don't receive any assistance with any of their needs. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, it's actually just like a really big misperception. First, one of the things that seeing people in Colorado and DC and Washington where drugs like weed is legal, everybody in their homes is doing drugs. Like that, like in fact, there's so many people who consume drugs. We've had to start selling CBD products to fundraise for ourselves. Hit me up if you need some CBD though, y'all. I can't do time. But it's true. Like we pass so many judgments on people that we think are less than, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are people who have homes that do drugs and you not saying anything. There are people who have dependency problems and we don't say anything. What we need to do is treat houselessness as what it is and give them a home and then treat drug addiction and mental health issues on their own. We can't just keep wrapping it into like one bundle. It's BS and it's not needed.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get that assistance as well, like I said before, because where would they mail your appointment information? If you don't have a house, do you have a laptop? The library is closed. So like people are not following through. You by doing a housing first approach, we would have a location for them to be able to make doctor's appointments and get them. We would have the ability to get methadone clinics if people need that. But it's not that serious. People just, what do you want houseless people to spend their money on? Save it for a bookcase. The lanai. I don't understand. I would drink and do drugs if I was out on the street. I drink and do drugs when I
So
have a bad day. What do you want me to, like? What do we expect from people?
I I wonder if people think that in this situation they feel like the drug addiction is something that has led them to homelessness, when
Right.
sometimes the homelessness has actually led them to a drug addiction.
I've heard
Correct.
that. I've definitely heard
People, so we have people who had no drug problems before being
that.
houseless, but they go, like, it's same as like people who are incarcerated. A lot of people who are incarcerated don't get on drugs until they're in the prison and there's nothing else to do and it's forced on them. People are human. We do different things to cope. And what we all need to do, first thing we all need to do is step back and stop judging. How no matter why someone is in this situation, and I'm honestly saying, if I can speak as an expert or an advocate, houselessness happens through no fault of people's own sometimes. Yes, there are situations where people didn't pay their rent and they got evicted and they could never catch up. I'm not saying that hasn't happened, but you also have situations where the family home has burned down and there's been no resources to or insurance to replace those things. You are more People don't understand. You are one pay Most people are one paycheck away from being on the street. If you miss
Hello?
a check, like you be outside. I
Mm-hmm.
know me personally, I have a real job that I do during the day and I work 12 hours. That little $300 hurt, but I needed it. You know what I'm saying? Like that is important. And so for people, the first thing I would tell people who want to know why people are houseless, don't approach it like you're better than anybody because you could be in the same situation. Houselessness is an epidemic and it can come from a natural disaster. It could come from your landlord saying, I'm going to sell my building. And the new landlord saying, you don't fit the criteria for my next tenants. And they can
Mm-hmm.
do that. They can kick you right on out. They
They
can
sure
want
can.
to, you might just be outpriced. It is very hard to move. Like, okay, this person has done this. I moved to this company. Like, there's all kinds of reasons that someone could be housing, escaping domestic violence, escaping persecution from being LGBTQIA. You don't know what someone's situation is. So there's a couple of things you can do. One, don't assume. Speak to them and see what's going on. They're people. Just talk to them.
Right.
They will tell you. That's it.
Sure.
Somebody had a
I,
comment?
I just love how you touch bases of saying that you can't really approach the situation just thinking that's just a scenario, that's the case. With me dealing with substance use and people that are using, a lot of people use that same mindset and thinking like, oh, they just started doing drugs because you never know someone's backstory before you go into a situation, so you can never approach it in a manner of how you normally would think. You have to kind of be able to relate to a person and be understanding, like, listen, I may not know your story, but you can go ahead and tell me what's going on. I'm willing to listen. Let's get you some resources, get you some help from here. Because now you're telling me what's going on. What do you need from me? What can I do for you? You know what I mean? So I just like that you said that. That touched me when you said it. So
So do you feel like the city and or state government, they should be responsible for the housing insecure population or the homeless population?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We have so much money in the bull stuff that doesn't. Do you know that in Mecklenburg County, the police get over $250,000, and I'm lowballing it. We could take some of that money and instead of giving them tanks and riot gear or smoke bombs or gas bombs or
Mm-hmm.
bullets, we could take that and put counselors on the ground. So people like me, people like Patrice, volunteers don't have to be out there. Like, we pay taxes. I don't have children, but I'm okay with my taxes going to kids, schools, and roads. Like the same way we roll out the red carpet for celebrities is the way we should roll out the carpet for the most marginalized populations amongst us. There's no reason your local government cannot provide housing for people. They have admitted in Charlotte they have spent $28 million so far, and what we have is what you see. They spent $28 million on that. So nah, the government can do what they
On
want
what?
when they
The
what we
housing
have.
stuff or the hotel?
They have collectively on this entire COVID houseless population project. since March of 2020, spent $28 million. We have, I mean, like Greater Charlotte Rise personally, our CPA has written them with budgets about like, we offer to take rent space to house people inside. And that is where I come back to raggedy ass Andy Trotman. Sorry, Mom. Trotman, who said that they don't exist and we didn't need to do any of that. We proposed. There's a school right down off of West Boulevard that's abandoned. We contacted the county we contacted the school board, we contacted the county commissioners. Fuller lied to my whole face, and Velma leaks too. I'm not sparing no quarter. Talking about they can help, and Pat K calls every time there's a picture to be taken, but she's not out there. We've had people die out there. We did a vigil for a man who essentially, we don't know the true cause of death, but essentially he froze to death and he slid down the underpass, the bridge on North Tryon, and he died. And one of our volunteers with Feed the Movement, they found his body, and then we gave a vigil. And then there was another man who passed that night and because out of respect, we won't disclose his information. But yeah, this is happening. People are dying out here. The risk to exposure, all these raids, that's one, it's a waste of funds that our organizations like to buy these tents. That's we are in a capitalist that costs money. I raise money and other groups raise money so we can provide these things for people because our government won't.
Right.
Think about for years when they were like, oh, we need to charge kids to eat school lunch. We're giving out food now. We've always had the money to take care of the needs of our people. It has never been our priority. And that's my problem.
Right.
And what's really crazy about the houseless argument is what people don't understand is Greater Charlotte Rise does rent assistance as well. So we see the influx and people were like, I need help with rent. I need help with rent. These are people who need more than a $1,400 stimulus, right? They're not talking about making that come more often. So it could be any of us. It could happen to any of us. Unless you got a grip in your account, it could happen to any of us. Anything. It could happen to our moms, our grandparents. Even if you think about it like that, if your grandparents' house burnt down, where are they going? Do you have room at your house? Do you have accommodations to make them comfortable? So we should all, as a society, make ending chronic homelessness our priority. So that way we're good. That's one less thing. You never have to worry about where you're going to sleep. Everyone poops on Cuba, but you know what Cuba doesn't have? Homelessness.
Hello? Cuban society actually runs smoother than we do easily.
And some of them are fine.
Yes.
Focus.
No shade. Yes.
My bad.
No shade at all.
Jasmine, has there ever been a time where you've been penalized when you have raised the money and you actually doing the event and you're making the situation happen? Has you ever been penalized or told that you can't do that?
Yes. So Charlotte Mecklenburg makes their money off of poverty. And we have a bus system. And a lot of our folks need bus passes. So we tried to pitch to the city to give us discounted bus passes. We even got Crisis to talk to us about it, and the men's shelter at the time, it was called the men's shelter. They make millions of dollars off the bus system. And so we found a loophole. We found a business that was willing to provide bus passes to us at a reduced cost. But we got penalized because they were saying that the bus passes that we had were for a special population. So I had to pay a fine.
Now tell them about you putting the tents at Eastland Mall that y'all paid for.
All right. So when COVID, that was a terrible day. When COVID first started, I said we should put everybody at Eastland Mall. So because it's a flat surface. So when it rained, people would not be getting soaked out like they are on the grass and in the mud right now. So we'd gotten over 40 tents and set them up at Eastland Mall. We had porta potties, we had a food plan, we'd had volunteers, and then the police came and they took all of that stuff down. They took it down like they bought it. And like damaged something. Like they tried to do it gently, but like those tents can't be used. They couldn't be used again. It was terrible.
And that's 40 tents that came out of Greater Charlotte Rise that they're not gonna replace.
No.
So that's just money out the door.
They did give us, I will give them they gave us an opportunity. They gave us an hour to take them down ourselves. But once we had done all of that, and I'm not gonna say I, because it wasn't just me. Once we had done all that, I was like, you take them down. I don't work for you. You know what I mean? Like the city, and the worst part was the city manager. He's the person that was like, no, because the company that rents that out for flea markets was perfectly fine with signing a lease for us. They were like, we were gonna rent it. They would not, like, the city manager was like, no, we don't want to participate in that, and he tore them down.
Well, just like they had the soccer thing getting ready to go up out here, and they moved it because this is not the area that they want to have people coming to watch soccer. The Charlotte soccer team's home thing was supposed to be at East Lamont.
Yeah.
Anybody that has come in and tried to buy and use that space, the city has denied. From production companies to different businesses to the soccer thing. I don't know what they're trying to sell that shit for.
So part of it is, so I will admit too, again, I hate having to be honest about this crappy city. No offense, y'all. In their defense, a lot of that was the residents. So the part of Eastland Mall area we're thinking of right there, that part is very brown, but not far enough. That part has become very white. And they don't want that in their backyard. Like, they are very not in my backyard. And so they would rather these people suffer.
You're gonna make me cry. Okay. So I do have a question. Is there a way out?
What do you mean?
Is there a way to find enough facility while being homeless to successfully come out of it and be able to stay out?
Yes.
Because to me, I feel like the barriers that surround them, like right now in Charlotte, if you've ever had an eviction, you can't get a house. You can't rent shit. Period.
So there are some success stories. Like, there's no exception to the rule for everything. But it's rare, right? Like, how do you apply for a job? They have nowhere to call if you don't have a phone. You have to choose between eating and paying a phone bill. Even Obama knew that, and he was a centrist.
Girl, where is you going, honey?
I got 2 dogs, right? And so this one, she got to go out, but you can't let the big one out because the little one goes out the front and the big one go out in the back. So they run my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I have that problem now too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I
So go ahead.
I was gonna say though, like, they're fun, but they are full of personality.
Yeah. They tend to take on the personalities of their owners.
They do.
My dog's jackasses, just like me.
So is Max.
My dog is like me. She always sitting on people's faces and barking at them.
Not sitting on people's feet.
Sounds fun.
And barking at them.
And
That's how it
barking.
should be.
She expressive.
That's how it should
Way
be.
too late.
It's so weird.
Okay.
So I know that we're going to be wrapping up soon. So let me just ask you a couple of different questions. One, what can we do? And two, what should we not do?
Okay. So I think we talked about the things we should not do. We should not infantilize houseless people. We should not make judgments on anybody. You don't know, especially now, like, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know how close to the edge some people are. And that's not even just for our clients. That's in general. When you approach everybody in the 2021 year going forward, come without your own formed opinions. Just come ready to approach things like, approach things like, do you want to vent or do you want some solutions? And I think that's the biggest thing we do before we go to help people. We come in with, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. They didn't need all that. Oh, and the things that you can do, participate in our letter writing campaign. If you are a content creator, create content. We just want people to start expressing themselves so we can share with our local government, our state legislators, and our country's legislators that we are tired of houselessness and we don't have to settle for it. That it would be the biggest push. If you've got extra cash, we can take it. We are a 501c3. You can get a little tax deduction if you got that much. We take it. If you before you tattoo or place any jewelry in your brain,
please
just let me come over for 10 minutes. I just want to talk to you.
That's
you
it.
know, like we are. If you don't have money to donate, but you are open to CBD products, contact us. We have CBD items to help you, baked goods, of course, to help you. I mean, when they legalize it, we can do some other stuff, but for now, we only have the permit to do CBD. So that's how we try to raise money. If you got two hands, we need volunteers to come out and provide companionship services. We need volunteers to, help.
I didn't know y'all did companionship.
You just not very nice to people, so we don't let you do it.
I am who I am. I can't. Right. I'm not gonna lie about it.
And it's not that. It's just like we really are trying to take a housing first approach, and so we try to match people with things that they'll be good at with people that will be responsive to what they're good at. You're right. Not gonna be in the companion group.
No.
Okay.
problem people.
But we have people that want to learn how to cook. You can help with that. We got people that need rides to doctors. We need doctors that are willing to see people discreetly. We have some that help us out now. We don't ask for any prescription writing. We just want you to tell us what's going on with that person if you can. We accept help from nurses and street medics. Like the problem is there's just such a great need out there. There's something we have a spot for everyone. It's just that we need you to slow down and contact us first, because one of the things we've noticed is people are just showing up and they don't understand that tent city is still people's homes, right? Like you don't like, could you imagine if I rolled up to Justice's house without calling first? Not only would I get cussed out, I'd be lucky if I don't leave with something on my face, like embarrassment.
You know what I mean? Look for the people.
Right, and that's not fair. I'm short. I can't even see that you saw me. That ain't right. That is not right. That's why I can't hang with him.
I remember, like, when I was in Hawaii, they have a permanent kind of tented community that lives on the beach. And there are like hundreds of people there. But if you're not from there, you can't go in there.
Right.
Period.
Wow.
You see people get murdered out there. Like, they do not play games.
And honestly, that program works out there, though. They have the right temperature for that. And they do still take care of people when there's inclement weather. They don't leave them on that beach at all. And that's what I'm saying. Austin is in Texas. Like Ted Cruz lives in the state of Texas, and they're providing 140 permanent houses. They went into the meeting and was like, we're going to buy so that's 280 permanent housing opportunities. But they were like, you know what? They have Republicans at their meeting. It is Texas. So they only got one. But 140 permanent houses, people don't even think about how many things that's going to solve. One, by offering it to one family, they'll probably let other people come with them until they get their housing. I mean, couch surfing is a cool, trendy thing when people with homes do it. We're positive that they will do it. I mean, there's been studies. We've had enough studies show if you give people Canada gives them a lump sum. And you know what they do? They find housing, get careers. They do things.
Not to mention the impact it has on the people that actually have families. You have children out here in Tent City freezing to death. watching the robberies, the drugs, the beatings.
Mhm.
Like, why? And once if you put them in a stable area, you'll see a change. You know, we have all these Title IV schools in Charlotte where you have all these kids failing all these tests. Who the fuck is gonna study when I sleep in a tent? Or
Right.
I'm in a hotel room with 6 other fucking kids.
So what they've told people is that there are no children in Tent City. That is what they've told people. The problem is if you had children, would you tell anybody where they live? And none of the advocacy groups would say anything either. So I just want people to be mindful. Just when you think a houseless person, it is not always that person either, right? Like we have a teacher right now. It's a teacher, like an actual educator, but because of the private school they teach that they don't have health insurance. They currently live in Tent City. We had to buy them a generator. You know, and they're close. Their tent is close.
For preferred parking, we had one guy who it was at the epicenter. So some kind of way he had got in past the barriers, and him and his brother, he had like 3 siblings because their parents were not around. But he worked a full-time job, but he had them hide in there so that they would have somewhere safe and warm to be. And legally, the parking lot structures have to make them leave.
Mm-hmm.
When I work 3rd shift, so I would never make anybody leave. You know what I'm saying? Get this nap while you can. On the outside of the Epic Center where those bushes are, it's actually air grates. So it's super warm right there in the winter. You'll see people back there. I'm not telling these people to leave. Where they gonna go? You know what I'm saying?
We criminalize houselessness.
Some of the people that are like supervisors in parking, like, why don't you put people in some of these garages during COVID? Like, these shits is not being used. But again, it comes down to money.
It does. And liability. A lot of things.
And that's what I mean. The liability that's going to cost them money. Just like all these restaurants that throw away all this food at the end of the night. In other states, they donate that to the homeless people. You can't even go dumpster diving in Charlotte.
So what I will say is and we've utilized these restaurants. There are some bakeries and restaurants that will graciously put things in a double, triple bag.
Yep.
Near the trash.
The dumpster, leave it on the side
right. But we have relationships where we know what time to go out there and get it because after some time you don't want.
Right.
But the problem, another thing is people are taking food to Tent City in like to-go boxes, right? Like you would go home and you take that box, you put it in your fridge. You can't do that. We have a rodent problem. So I think
and
that
right
just
now that's the most pressing issue, right? The rat problem.
Because when we go, so recently the police participated. They called themselves cleaning up Tent City, so they had to get a crane and a dump truck and just crane lift it because of you don't want to go through the right, and you don't want to get bitten. So we had a street cleanup a couple weeks ago, and that was an obvious thing. We had to tell our volunteers, we visibly see rats. We need you to move away from this area, and so it's just people shouldn't have to live like that, and we don't have to. We have programs in place. I want to point out too, I keep saying that we don't need to do this in Charlotte. In Winston-Salem and Fayetteville, they have eradicated veteran homelessness. And a lot of these people could qualify for disability, so it wouldn't even be like the city is forking over for them all the time. But other groups, smaller groups like mine, if the city provided the housing, we would all be able to help a lot faster with some of those other resources. If I'm only buying groceries versus paying for hotels, or you know what I mean, like just the mindset of you always change. Like just think about next time you go out and then you come home, and how you feel when you cross your threshold, and you could just be like, oh, they don't have that, and no one should not have that.
I completely agree. This is definitely a problem. And I've seen so many, like there are a couple really cool different house building techniques being done. Like they're doing 3D printing houses that cost literally $100, $200.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Denver make a tiny house community?
Yes, they did, and it's doing successful. Do you know people have moved out of like they've excelled and moved on, right? Like I think what people automatically assume the worst about people. Oh, they're going to get in there and stay. People move out the projects. That was the same mentality before we had that. You go, you live, and you move on when you don't need it. Yes, there might be some people that don't transition out, but I would rather help and house people who didn't need it versus having one person who did need it and couldn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, Jasmine, that's our time for this evening.
You.
Thank you
I want to
for
thank you so much for being here and really just, telling people the real shit about what goes on with homeless people in Charlotte. It's more than these people standing on the corner with their little buckets and shit. You might see the same person every day, same time. Why? Because just like dope corners, that's their motherfucking corner.
And I also want to point out there are some religious groups that have people panhandling. So like when you see people with those flyers, that's how they're not doing it because they want to. They're doing it so they can earn their spot to sleep.
Yep, in that house.
Yeah. So there are orders out here. Yeah, it's like King's Kitchen is a scam.
Remember, Patrice, last year, like the beginning of last year, they was protesting because the guy who was running it, the police had arrested him. So they wanted him to release him. And I told you that there's people who do panhandle to have their keep. It's a religious group, and they make them panhandle to so they can have a place to stay and lay their head.
Yeah. That's like King's Kitchen. When you go, they say you work for us, we'll feed you. What they don't say is the food you eat is not the same food that they serve people, and you still have to work, then sit through a religious service, then eat.
Yep.
I know there are a lot of food bank places like that at different churches. They make you sit through like some kind of sermon or something before you can get your food and shit.
That's a lot. That happens a lot.
Yeah. I have a friend that works at the men's shelter. And he told me the other day, he said homelessness is $1 billion industry. That's why they'll never end it. These people can continue to open up stuff like Roof Above and make it seem like they're doing all this good. But at the same time, they're just doing enough for it to look on the books. Like I have a person that Roof Above housed, but they put them in the fucking slums with these slumlords who didn't even clean the fucking apartment. There are bullet holes in this chick's fucking wall. But you want them to be happy with whatever you throw them.
That's like they keep saying in the city that like everybody, if you listen carefully, they keep talking about how Roof Above's got a hotel, Salvation Army's got a hotel, all these other places. Now, these places were housing people before COVID, but these new acquisitions, they're sharing them. So that hotel that the Salvation Army's talking about, the hotel that the Roof Above's talking about,
all the same spot.
Now, if I'm wrong, tell me, Liz, tell me.
Yeah, they supposedly got 2, but only 1 is usable, right?
Right.
They got to renovate
them. Now, like they took everybody out of the shelters and put them in these hotels. Why can't you take the people from Tent City and put them in the fucking shelter?
Oh, because there's no real. So listen. We have to have a whole different day about what shelters are like. Because why would you, man? You could get raped anywhere. Why go to the shelter? Sorry. That's why I don't do interviews.
No. One of my homeless clients recently was stabbed. He wasn't staying in Tent City. He said it was inside the shelter, and I said,
you could get messed up fast. Look, we gonna have to one day. We just go for drinks. It's a depressing tale, and you really do need drugs and alcohol to get through it.
I feel you. We're gonna drum up some volunteers for you. We're gonna come through.
Thank you.
Because I don't like any of this. I really don't. It makes me very upset.
The sooner we work to end chronic,
it makes me cry.
I just feel like
I'm not a fucking crier.
If we assured people residency, like a place to live and sleep, everyone's demeanor would be so much different. You might not have to work at that job that's abusing you because you still got a roof over your head. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Housing is the first thing that everyone should have. That's it.
And it's the top thing that everybody needs.
Right. And I appreciate you guys for having me on your program and letting me babble. I know I'm a terrible guest because I be all over the place with my verbal energy. But it's just there's so much. And if we could just end homelessness, we could all go on to the next thing. I swear.
Right.
There's always more work. I promise.
This is why we need progressives in our offices, because they actually want to do something for regular people that don't have money. And that's sad to say, but it's real.
I would love to not have to do this.
Biden's been in office how long? 2-3 weeks? And he said we was getting a check. Where the check at?
And it ain't a full 2,000. You got 600. You got the 600 during Trump. I love how you take credit for that.
I got to file my taxes first.
I mean, they give our military trillions, billions upon billions of dollars. We are not at war.
No.
We have the largest military in the world. We have at least one military station in every country and in every capital. And in some places, it's more than one. Hawaii has a hub for every branch of the fucking military. Why?
We have an old, now this is a terrible place. We have an old jail we don't use. We could renovate that and make it into homes, like turn cells into studio apartments. Like there's so many things we could do if we wanted to. I gotta go though, because I've just informed that the police have shown up and I need to go and help my folks. So I apologize for dipping out. I do appreciate
It's okay.
this.
We way over time anyway. It's all right. I really wanted to have you on so you could tell people that this shit is so real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you see like speakers and stuff on the side of the road asking for money, you know, it's easy to be like, oh, girl, I don't want it. But you can tell, like for me, I feel like I can look at a homeless person and tell if they're really homeless. Because this panhandling thing became like real trendy.
But I also want us to get out of that too. It's not about people look like they're homeless and that. We should be able to just know no one is homeless. Like that should just be now you know they're out there because they gotta get that light bill. They out there because they gotta get this. We should live in a society. America's supposedly one of the richest countries in the world. If you won't give us healthcare, give us housing.
Indeed.
Thanks, y'all.
All right. I want to thank you for coming in and talking to everybody. And we will see everybody later. Have a great week. And next Thursday, we're going to have Winston on, and he's going to talk to you about, the government and shit. And what you can do to make it better. All right. Out.
Get in touch with sexy.
Sexy. I'm sorry. I don't do that. Have a good week, guys.
Bye.